Well, praise the Lord, hallelujah, and thank you, Jesus. Around that time, right here on KAZ Radio, where we have one of the most hottest shows every single Sunday. But today it's on Saturday, none other than What's Going On with Lady E and Sir John. What's going on, Sir John?
Saturday, it's rainy, it's cold. I missed the 80-degree weather for October. But most important, we got a wonderful guest here today from the wonderful show Fences that's going on at Karamu, which I hope everybody takes advantage of again. The young man plays one of the main characters. Just going to introduce to him, let him talk about himself. Dar'jon Bentley, just like the car.
Right. Hi, my name is Dar'jon Bentley. I'm currently an actor in Cleveland. I'm currently studying psychology as a major and acting directing as a minor at Baldwin Wallace University.
Awesome. In the play, Fences.
Yes.
Tell us, who do you play in that play?
So my character in Fences is Corey Maxon, and Corey Maxon is the son of Rose and Troy Maxon, and he's this football player that has big dreams. His dream is to play football in college professionally, and what happens in the show is that his dreams kind of get put down because of his father, and his father's dreams were kind of put down by the system. So now that his father has this view of, well, my dreams are put down, so your dreams are going to have that same effect, there's this pull and tug between the two within the show.
Okay. All right. And how long is Fences running at Karamu?
So we started September 27th, and we've had 2 weekends so far. We're on our third weekend now. So it runs until the end of next week, which is October 21st is our last show, which is a matinee.
Okay. And you just had a show yesterday.
Yes, we had a show last night.
Then you got a show tomorrow. What time is that?
Well, we have a show tonight, too.
Oh.
Yeah, we have a whole Thursday through Sunday. We have shows.
Working hard.
right. Working hard. So our show tonight is at 7,
Okay.
and tomorrow Sunday. So our show tomorrow is at 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's like back to back. That's like a
back to back.
Player.
We had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
All right.
Then we get a nice 3-day break with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and come right back at it.
Oh, my goodness. So how long have you been acting?
I would say that I've started acting junior year of high school. I got into this program called the Chagrin Falls Academy of Performing Arts, and through there they kind of taught us about Meisner and Chekhov, and how to implement methods and acting techniques into our work. And I started junior year, and it just continued from there. So it's about a 3-year. I fell in love with it. I've actually fallen in love with it for years now. Ever since Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire. Okay. I loved that movie as a kid, and I was like, I want to be a superhero, but my family was like, they're not real. And I was like, it's a fake. Right. And I was like, well, what can I do to get close to that? And they were like, well, you could be an actor. Right. And I was like, what's an actor? And then I kind of followed that. And then when it came to junior year and shows started coming up and I started auditioning, I was like, oh, I can be Spider-Man now. So, yeah.
So, what other place were you in?
So I was, junior year I started off, I was in a show called Rhinoceros. I was an understudy, and I was part of the ensemble, but I was the understudy for the lead.
Oh.
Which was very, rare for someone to just, join this program, and I was like, you're understudy for the lead. Wow, you must have something type of thing. And so I started as the understudy, and then I did a show called Our Town, which I played a nice supporting character, Doc Gibbs. That was a lot of fun. Then after that, I did 12th Night. I did a show called The Little Foxes, which was like a really good supporting role. Mm-hmm. I played Horace Giddens in that. And last semester actually at BW, I played the lead, which was Eddie Carbone in A View from the Bridge by Arthur Miller. So
right.
I've been
going through the whole scale.
Right.
All right. Auditioning. How is it? Oh, when you started to when you first auditioned to now.
When I first started to audition, I kind of had this sense of I don't know what I'm doing, but
I'm gonna wing it.
But I'm gonna wing it. I had monologues and stuff picked out, but I wasn't. When I started junior year, I had no idea what all goes into it. I just knew you got to go to auditions, you got to do your best, and then whatever happens, happens. So when it first started, I was very limited on everything. Like I did a monologue from the Joker from The Dark Knight to get into that program. So I did the whole, Heath Ledger imitation and everything. But as I started to understand more and go through this program, right, who doesn't like that movie? It's a great movie. But as I started to go through the program, I realized that there are theater monologues, and you have to. There's certain monologues you can use from other shows that relate to the show you're trying to audition for. Right. And after that, I kind of got this. It went from not knowing anything to knowing a little bit, just being nervous during auditions, to now it's like I get a little nervous, but that's like driving to the audition. When I'm there, I'm like I'm there. Wow. I know my audition stuff. Let's do it and see if you like me for the role.
So auditioning, there is a way you should go about auditioning.
Yeah, I believe there's a way you should go about auditioning. I think I feel if you need to learn your stuff before, you need to learn yourself way before it's time for you to start auditioning. If you learn your monologue, and it's because that way you get more time to practice.
Right.
If you get more time to practice, you'll feel more confident when you do it, instead of I just started this the night before. I know I keep dropping this line, this, that. And I understand there's sometimes where someone's like, hey, we have an audition for you tomorrow morning. If you can do it, that'd be great. Here's the side type of thing. I get that. But to learn as fast as possible to me is something that's helped me because I'm able to be more comfortable. I know the material. It's just, how am I going to do it now? Am I going to make this comedic? Am I going to make this dramatic? Am I going to fall to the floor? Am I,
knowing what you're auditioning for.
Exactly.
And planning around it.
Yeah, and you get to play around more. I like to say you get to play around more with a lot of what's going to happen in the audition. Who are the people you're auditioning for? Because sometimes you know them, sometimes you don't. You have to get a feel, asking people, how was it when you audition for them? You get more time to, it's less stressful. Excuse me. It's less stressful when you know your material way beforehand. Right. And you can just do all the other stuff.
Okay. All the playing around.
Right.
So when you auditioned for Fences at Karamu, you were ready for it?
So funny story. When I auditioned for Fences, Lillian Piles, she's a casting director here in Cleveland. Yeah. She emailed me, and I emailed her months before, and I sent her monologues. I just wanted to be put in the database.
Right.
I don't have an agent yet, so I was like, let me try to get one in a way. Let me send her my headshot, resume, audition stuff. So I sent her these monologues and everything, and one of them was Corey from Fences. I sent her one of those. And months later, she messages me, and she goes, I'm sorry I'm seeing this now, but Fences is doing auditions for Karamu. I mean, for Fences. Karamu's doing auditions for Fences. Would you like to audition? I said, yeah, I would love to. And me and my friends have been talking about Fences all throughout the summer. We've been doing fan castings. We were like, oh, this would be cool. We were all in the show. And apparently we all just got this, opportunity to audition. So we all auditioned for it. And, we all auditioned for it, and it was amazing to have that happen. It was really weird,
How it all played out.
How it all played out.
All beforehand.
We didn't even think about, is Fences even going to be played this year? We were just like, it would be cool if we could do Fences. And the next thing you know, we
got the opportunity.
We got the opportunity, yeah.
Wow. Now you're from here?
Yes, I'm from here. I'm from Beechwood, Ohio.
Okay. Yeah, that's right in the middle of it.
right in the middle of it. Smack dab right there.
And what made you choose Baldwin Wallace?
So, what made me choose Baldwin Wallace was, at first I was trying to go to all these New York schools. I was trying to, leave Cleveland. I was like, I don't want to be here no more. But then I remember I was talking to one of my good friends, and she sat there and she was like, I'm going to Baldwin Wallace this year. I was like, oh, that's not, they gave me money for that school, but I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about New York and all that stuff. And then she was like, I think you'll really fit there. She's like, it's a very diverse school, which I love, and especially the theater program. They have a nice diversity atmosphere to their program. So I was like, yeah, maybe I'll go see. So me and my aunt, it was late, I was already trying to go to Pace, not enough money for that school. Money was a big thing. So my aunt was like, look, it's close. It's here. I say you do it. It's a theater school. Yeah. And they have wonderful opportunities here in, Cleveland. So I said, okay, I'll go. So at first I wasn't feeling it. I was a commuter. I was very like, ugh. This is. I was like, this is not
The
fun.
Drudge.
I was like, the drive here was terrible. You know,
Nice.
you know, right? And in the first semester, I was dreading it. But then, you know, and I'm a very religious person, so I pray every night at 10 o'clock, and I'm like, I need something. I know you don't got me here for no reason, Lord. So I need something that's going to keep me here. And behold, you know, this audition comes up for the show in their season. I'm like, okay, I guess this is your message. I guess this is a sign. So
I'll take it.
I'll take it, whatever. As long as it keeps me here, I need money. So I go to the audition, and I'm like, you know, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. It's not like you got nothing to lose. All they can say is no.
Right.
And I do it, and I feel really comfortable with it. And next thing I know, I get the part, like a leading part. And this is my first lead.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, that
That
is
is
a
a
big
sign.
sign. I'm like, wow, you gave me a huge sign right
It
there.
wasn't a little one.
Right.
I got it now.
It wasn't on the street. This was like right in front of my face type of thing. So,
Here's the lead.
right. So, and that's this. And after that, I realized, you know, it kind of sparked my love for theater more. Because at first it was like, I love theater. I love to do it, but it's just like, I got to do all this school stuff type of thing.
Right.
And plus, I'm not a major in acting, so I'm doing psychology. So it's like,
I was going to go there.
Right.
You know, you're majoring in psychology.
Psychology, yep.
And before the show started, we were talking about that. And I want you to tell our audience why you're doing that.
So the reason that I am majoring in psychology is because, as for me, my future goals as an actor is to be an actor, director, writer, and producer in the future. So what I want to do is write artwork that represents a more in-depth depiction of human life. So I wanted there to be, if there's a real depiction of African Americans in their area, where they live. I didn't want this to be this whole stereotypical, this is the hood.
Without the emotion.
Right, without the
mental
my
why.
baby died.
Right.
That whole,
Right.
not all that stuff. I wanted there to be a real depiction. And luckily I was able to grow up in my grandma lived in those urban areas and I lived in the suburbs. So to have that, going to grandma's house most of my life and then going to the suburb most of my life and seeing the two different sides, which was very insightful and made me want to really go into, okay, I need to do more real depiction of it.
Okay, well, that's deep. That's psychology.
Right. That's psychology.
You're right. We don't have that often.
Right.
In the media. And so social media, acting or whatever, we don't really have it. And you notice the people who become great actors, I guess, they do have that sense of understanding the deeper emotions or the deeper mental state. The great writers.
Right.
And
when I was looking for, my aunt was, she had to talk to me and she was like, I honestly don't think it is a good idea for you to study acting. Mm-hmm. And, my head was like straightforward into, I'm going to be a BFA act. I'm going to do acting. I'm going to do acting. I'm going to do acting. She said, there's multiple things you can do to get to acting. She said, just Google some of the people you admire. Yeah. Just Google them. She was like, a lot of them do not have degrees in acting.
A lot.
And I said, I don't believe you. And then I go to my computer. I'm like, wow, she's right. Oh my goodness. I'm like, Jesus.
You working with Peter Lawson?
Yes.
He's one of those people.
Right. And there's like Matthew McConaughey. Yeah. He doesn't have one. A lot of them don't. But at the same time, there's a lot of them that do. And so there's that pool of, do I not? And I'm luckily enough, BW has a great, program where I can do psychology and you can still do shows. You don't have to be in the program to do shows. They allow anybody to, which is great. It's kind of like open auditions for any, theater. It's like, anyone can come and audition. It's just, do you have what it takes to get there? And I like that about the program. I like that I don't have to be a part of this program to actually audition for shows and be a part of the community. They treat me as a part of it. Right, I can do both. They treat me as part of it. So that's what I like about it.
Okay. So writer, producer.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. There's a lot of, and not many people realize, I know here in Cleveland that grew up here, that we actually have a very great theater.
Yeah, we have a
background,
great
a lot
one
of
here.
and not many people take advantage of it.
Right.
You know, like I think they should, but because it's amazing.
Right, and that's what, and I tell my friends, like, some of them are like, oh, we're just gonna, just do this and do that. I'm like, look, you guys are in Cleveland. There's Neopal, Ohio. There's a lot of resources you can use to just go and audition places. You guys have cars, Go. It's not gonna hurt you to not go and audition for places. You can.
It's like you said earlier. All they can say is no.
All they can say is no. And it also shows
and no could be very to help you build you up.
Right, and it also shows your face. That's another thing. I like to show my face a lot. So I sit there and I'll go to an audition and I'll be like, hello, I know I'm not right for this part, but you see my face for next show. So if you do another show, I'll be here for you because you see
remember.
Me. Right, you'll remember me because I had probably a good audition, but it just wasn't right for the part.
Right. And that's all about branding.
Right.
All about branding. Now, your other, the other actors and actresses in the play, who is your favorite? Or
my favorite. My favorite actor / actress in the play. And do you mean like acting wise? Do you mean like just who I like to talk to, or
both?
Both. I would have to say my favorite has to be Peter. Me and Peter sit backstage, do a lot of the scenes that we're both like not on stage for, and we'll listen because you can hear the show backstage. We'll listen and we'll be like, ooh, he shouldn't have said that. Ooh, Troy gonna get it now. We love listening to the audience. Like, we crack up. Like last night, like I said, we had a great audience. So we cracked up laughing when you hear someone go, ooh, Troy. Just the audience, we crack up back there. So I think Peter, he's also been a great, person to just talk to and look at when he does, when he's in his focus for the character. He sits there, he focuses. And another cool thing is like, it shows you how human they are too, because they're not just sitting there all the time like, I am this character. They come back and they get on their phones and they get that focus, and then they go on stage and do it. And it's not this whole big, well, I have to stay in character 24 hours of the day, type of thing. And it's really cool to watch them all do it. But Peter, I've watched a lot because I see him more backstage.
Okay.
Because of
the way the flow of the play.
The way the flow of the play is, right.
And that's an interesting thing you were just saying there, because again, we were talking about this earlier, how you were saying, well, tell the audience, what are you learning most doing Fences now, since you're a young actor?
What am I learning the most?
Yes. As a young actor.
As a young actor, this is my first professional show. So I'm used to school productions. I'm used to having a large amount of time to learn lines and get this character, really shaped and morphed with the help of the director,
Right.
With this show, as soon as I saw the production dates and, how everything was run, I was like, wait, we auditioned in August 30th. The show opened September 27th. Huh? I'm like, that's only this much time left to learn all these lines and understand Corey. But it taught me to not rush understanding, but it taught me to take out the bull that comes with that stuff that I did during school production, taking my time. Like, I don't have to learn lines today. I got a whole month, type of thing. It taught me to get off book as fast as possible. Write down everything you can think of. Prioritize, what this character needs to do a good job on stage, to really effectively play Corey.
Wow.
So yeah, I learned a lot from this production with everything that went on.
Wow.
It taught me a lot. Yeah.
So Fences, again, let the audience know the show times.
Yeah, so
especially this weekend,
since
it's raining.
So since it's raining, you gotta get there a little bit earlier. So Fences tonight, we open the house at 7. The show starts at 7:30. Tomorrow we open the house at 2:30. The show starts at 3, and then for next week, which is our closing week of Fences, Thursday through Saturday, open the house at 7. Open the show at 7:30, and then Sunday we close with open house at 2:30 and open the show at 3.
All right, and tickets what? Around $40?
$40. Discounts are available. If you are a student, you can also buy student tickets, which are for $20. You have to make sure that you bring your ID just to prove that you are a student.
A verifiable student.
Right, to make sure you are a student. Because I had some adults come up to me and say, well, I still have my ID from when I went to school. I was like, they not going to sit there and say you a student, man.
1977, no.
Right, no.
Yeah, not going to happen. Well, just to flip script here and go to a different way. You're in college, you're a sophomore, you're part of the millennials. What do they call young guys now?
I think it's Generation Z.
Or Generation Z.
Generation Z.
I didn't even know that. Now there's a Generation Z.
Generation Z. I like that. We're going to call it that.
What does that stand for?
It's the one after millennials, because millennials are supposed to be like in their late 20s now.
Right.
Like they came up in the 90s. So like the 99 through 2000 kids are now Z. I don't know.
We're the Z Nation.
I was like,
We're Z Nation. There we go. We're Z Nation.
Walking Dead, y'all just took all that.
Right.
Being Generation Z. In our current America, we are today, I mean, what are your generation, what do you think? What do you feel our country is going?
The way I see it, I try my hardest to make sure my mental state is cool, not to think as hard about it.
Okay.
I try to go through life day by day because there's too much stress with it. I keep hearing Trump this, Kanye said this, all this other stuff. The world's doing this happened. I try my hardest to focus on to get to my goal in the future.
Right.
Which is to be that director actor, but I can't do that when I have so much stress worrying about what other people are doing. Now I understand that there's a big, impact from what other people are doing. The people we're talking about, at least.
Right.
There's a huge impact, but for me, the way I see it is that yes, things have happened, but personally, I'm still okay right now, as I see it.
Well,
I can still
personally, you're keeping your goal in front of you.
Personally, I can still do what I need to do
right.
to go to the next level. So I personally don't think about it much, and I try not to. As far as what I think about where we're going, there's a lot of talking being done, and not a lot of doing. Now, Trump did some things that have made a huge impact, but there's a lot of talking that I'm hearing, and not a lot of just it's being done. And I think that's what ignites the conversation, because it's the fear of that there is a lot of talking. It's going to keep
be a lot
building
of talking.
up. It's going to build up to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and then it's like this big explosion of just we heard this, we heard that, Trump's doing this, Trump's doing that, that type of thing. And like I said, I don't get involved in that stuff, but I hear it a lot. I just hear it everywhere. It's not just in a certain program. I hear it in the lunchroom. I hear it going to my door. I'm just like...
So it's pretty much your focus.
Right. I'm focused.
On your life.
Yes.
So you don't allow much of that going.
I don't.
Generation Z.
I don't allow the Generation Z to kind of influence.
Zero.
Right. To kind of influence what I need to get done.
Okay, that's kind of smart because you're in college.
Right. I have to school comes first.
Absolutely.
In front of everything. So I got to make sure my grades are right. So I can't email my teacher like, I'm sorry, Trump said this. I can't write this paper.
Okay.
They gonna be like, well, put Trump in the paper and then send that paper over to us.
Otherwise,
you're gonna get F. So, and you're not gonna graduate.
Right.
So,
and you're paying for it.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right.
Well, only reason I mention it, this has been a very eventful week, and I push a lot for people to vote.
Right.
And that's one thing I do take seriously,
right.
In life. Even if you're focusing on who you are as a citizen, I think, or, in the United States, this is your chance to do your little...
Right, to do your little...
your say, your
right.
1 cent.
Exactly.
Well, you say it out loud, and now you say your 1 cent and move on about your life. And I take it, when some people, I hear a lot of young people at my job, my real job, I guess.
Right. The cubicle that we were talking about.
The cubicle, one of the pieces of ice in the rack or whatever.
Right.
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 In that job, I hear the young people who say some of them don't want to vote. I don't vote. I just go whatever. And I'm like, well, you gotta vote because that's your last chance to say your say. Now, whether that's why back in the day they used to say people were very, and I wish they'd go back to it when people will vote and people will ask how you vote. They were like, oh no, that's a personal, private thing.
Right.
I remember my father used to say that a lot, but now I'm thinking, that was pretty good.
Right.
That way you didn't have all this contention. I think.
Right. You didn't have whose side are you on type of
thing.
thing. And to go
Lines
back to what you were saying, I do believe that voting is very, everyone needs to, because it's just another chance for you to, in a world where we can't really speak out a lot.
Right.
It's a chance for you to finally do it. It's a chance for you to actually finally say, well, here's my voice. It might not be spoken out loud. It might just be just a check mark.
Right.
But it's something being put out there that you've influenced.
Right.
And that's why I do believe that everyone should, vote.
Good. Because
he was about to sit here like this interview's over. If you didn't.
Not quite. I was just gonna see why.
Right.
But it's good that you say that, and I hope a lot of your, come in November, do that. Yeah. I mean, a lot of this stuff is going to reflect on you guys more down the road than more say
exactly. And
half a century people.
And that's why I like the art so much, because the art, at least the shows I've done, there's always something that relates back to what's going on in the world. Like there was the Black Lives Matter thing that happened when I was doing The Little Foxes, and in the show it's about people in the South, and I was race flipped the roles,
right,
or color casted the role. Oh, I forgot what it's called, but I was able to play. Usually the character's played by a white man.
Yeah.
And I was able to play that character.
That is awesome that they did that.
Yeah, and also in last semester with the show that I was the lead of. That's usually played by a white man. I mean, he's an Italian, New Yorker.
Yeah,
it's usually
that.
They had me as African American male play the character, and that's there was a lot of Black Lives Matter happened with the Little Foxes. It wasn't as big last semester with Black Lives Matter, but it was still there, and it was still heavily like that cloud was still kind of there from it. So I think that every time I do a show like Fences, that good black representation, especially in a show at Karamu, that good black representation with a show that everybody knows, everybody can we relate to this show. Rose, I know, Corey, oh, my dad was just like that. Or Troy, I had a kid like that. That everyone relates to the show. And that's why I like doing theater, because in art in general, everyone relates to it. It's life. It is. It's art imitating life. And I think that's one of the greatest quotes I've ever heard.
Okay. All right. Are you surprising young man? Very surprising. Because that's a great thing there. Art imitates life, and art influences our society.
Mm-hmm.
And with your goal, trying to hit every aspect of the visual art, and to get more meaning into it.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, within that goal, you mentioned earlier you're a very spiritual person.
Yes.
So within that goal, what do you think you're going to try to influence, or what out of life you're going to try to write about,
right.
produce about?
So, right now my goal is to open up a business called a film company called Bleak Forest Productions, and my goal with that is to break this stereotype that there are black actors can really only be in black films, and white actors. I remember
what
I was watching.
Doing.
Right. And I've watched over the summer, or I think it was last summer. It was the movies Girls' Night that came out, and then Rough Night. And I was sitting there with some friends, and I remember I was like, these both are great films. I love both of the films. And my one friend goes, well, I was like, just imagine if Girls' Night. I mean, it's the same movie. It's just someone dies, and then the other one, So I'm like, just imagine if they was flipped. That'd be so funny if Queen Latifah was in that movie. If she was in Rough Night. And my friend was like, no. Black people can't do that. It's like black people get stereotyped. If they do crack, let's say, because in the movie they did, they'll get stereotyped as a crackhead.
Right.
And that kind of bothered me for a little bit because I was like, I get what you're saying, but why can't why can't it be just as funny as if a white person does it? And so it got me thinking harder about what my goals were. And right now, what my goal is to have a business where, on camera, in front of the camera, behind the camera, it's diverse. I want movies where, you think someone white should be playing this role, but no, we have African American male playing that role. No, we have a Chinese person playing that role.
Right.
And it brings back to all the stereotypes of whitewashing and all that stuff. And it's just, I really want to at least put my 2 cents into stopping that. I know I can't break it because it's Hollywood. I'm so much smaller compared to Hollywood.
Right.
But as far as
maybe things change.
Of course, things change.
The way the internet is.
Thinking now, as a just trying to start it, I can definitely put in some. I can definitely put in just a little bit.
Spin into the conversation.
Right. I can put a little bit into it to get people to see, be like, oh, that is possible. That type of thing. That's what I want, and that's why I think that understanding humans more. This is why I'm in psychology. Understanding, why they think this way, why they act this way, why are they so uncomfortable when a black person does crack on stage instead of when a white person does. They think it's the most hilarious thing ever.
Right.
What makes them think that way? And that's what I'm trying to understand.
So you break that down.
Break it down exactly, so I can have a movie where African American does some crack and it's the most funniest thing ever, or kill somebody. It's the ha-ha, that type of thing, and not just this whole Medea goes,
right,
this whole Tyler Perry Medea goes to something.
Right.
Right.
Medea's still Easter or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Medea still's Easter, right?
Hey, I'm getting tired of those. But
right. I just saw that there's like a Medea's funeral. And I was like, please tell me this when Medea dies. Please.
Because he is milking that cow into that well
and that's another fear of mine. I don't want to go into, and Tyler Perry, he's made
he's great. He's amazing.
He's great, and I don't discredit anything he does. I mean, I still go to the movies. I saw Boo 1 and Boo 2,
Right.
I still went, but I want different aspects. I want action movies, dramas movies, sci-fi movies. I want to be
Actually, I think some of his action movies were a lot better.
And they were, right.
But
Everyone's going to remember him for Medea.
Right.
I don't want to be remembered for just one character, at least. I want to be remembered for, he had this great film and he did this character so well and he did, he written this movie so perfectly. I want to remember for the multiple aspects of it. Okay. That's what I want to mostly be remembered for.
So all actors in the world, or all the ones you have seen, you mentioned Spider-Man.
Right.
It's what got you want to be an actor. Well, you actually want to be a superhero, but
right.
Same thing.
I had to lower it. I can't be a superhero, so I had to go one below actor. What actor, actress influence you, or writer, or? Quentin Tarantino, director-wise, is a very big influence on me. I grew up watching, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Grew up watching Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill. The way that he's just so unapologetically, anyway, I remember I was in class, like middle school, and I remember they was like, he uses the N-word in everything. And I'm like, yes, he does, but he doesn't do it in a way that's like trying to shock you.
No.
It's the art of it.
Right.
He's not just saying it to say it. A lot of people say it, the shock value. It's like, he said it. Oh my God, why did he say that? He's saying it because this is what we live in. In that time period that Pulp Fiction came out, white people could say it. And it didn't mean like, this whole big thing. It was like, yeah, that's how we talk,
Right.
And I love that about him. I love that in Kill Bill, he just blood everywhere. He's so unapologetic about everything he does. And I love that about him. Django, that's one of my favorite movies, actually. I love how he has this whole movie about slavery, and it's just...
I like he took an old movie, or even it's an old story,
right,
and made it his.
He made it. That's what it's unapologetic. He's not sitting there going, oh, this is a remake. Right. This is his movie. I can't even say it's a remake. It's his movie.
Yeah,
Django is.
He took it.
He took Django. Right. We thought Django was Quentin Tarantino's Django is what we know him for. And that's what I love about him as far as a director and writer too, because he writes most of his scripts too. Right. Acting wise, I would have to say, there's not really a certain actor It's just the combination of them all.
Bits and pieces of it.
Bits and pieces of them. Like Tobey Maguire, like I said, he was my favorite because he did it so well. And I knew how old he was too. That's what made it cool. I was like, whoa, you're playing like an 18-year-old, and I know you're like 24. I'm like,
Right.
you know, just stuff like that. Just little things about that. The Rock, you know, I'm like, you came from WWE, and now you're, you know, the highest grossing paid actor out there. Just little bits and pieces from each actor kind of morphed me into like loving the art of film, especially film acting, which is what I want to go into. So it made me really morph that into what I love about the art.
Okay. All right. Tarantino. More move a little bit more. Guys, be glaring there. Tell me to get close. Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's that psychology coming out, you know? But yeah, that's okay.
Well, I've had these answers for like a while.
Okay.
Like I've been asked this multiple times. You know, what are your goals? I've had to think about it multiple times. What are my goals? I don't want to be there, and I don't want to just Michael Bay films. I don't want to just make films because that's what the audience want. I want to make films because I want there to be something to it. I want to be remembered for having a film that broke something.
You really like being this art.
Yeah, I really. Oh my God, I love.
That's what I'm getting at. You have a passion for it.
I do. I have. There's a legit fire that I know that's in me, and it's something that drives me every day. Like I wake up every day now, especially with fences. I'm like, I get another chance to do Corey. I get another chance to go on stage and tell Corey. You know, I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to school, but I get another chance to do fences at Karamu, at one of the first black national theater companies.
Yeah.
So that's like an accomplishment in itself. And I was talking to a lot of my friends. They say, you know, this is like every black boy's dream, you know, especially do fences and at Karamu at the same place. So I'm like, listen, it's the Lord, y'all, you know. And it's a fire that burns, and like I get to audition for stuff. I get to write, you know. I brought this film writing software. I got this film editing software. It's just now a matter of doing, which I'm having a hard time trying to get to. But I figure once I get into it, there's nothing that's gonna stop.
It's gonna all come together.
It's all gonna come together.
So you mentioned you started your company
Bleak Forest Productions. Bleak Forest Productions. Yeah.
Why that name?
So, in high school, me and my friend, his name was Ian, we both wanted to open a film company. And we were trying to think of this name. We could not think of it. I wrote a movie. I finished the movie, actually. I didn't make it yet, but I just copyrighted. I wrote the whole movie out, like 117 pages, all done, you know. It's a lot. But I was able to do that, and I was sitting there, and I thought about what our goals were. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, I want to make a wide range of things. And it made me think about the forest. There's so many things in the forest that we know about and that we don't. And then we had this whole title card idea where someone would just be walking with like a lamp and the light would only go a certain distance. But then in the back, like above it, is like all these unidentified things that you don't know what they are. And that's what we kind of wanted to engross. And apparently, unfortunately, he's not a part of it now, but that's what we wanted. That's what I want to engross, that there's a lot more in the background instead of what we see in front of us. And that's what I kind of want to break and make about. So, like I said, I wrote a movie called Teachers, and it's a story of, it's a dark comedy about 3 teachers that wind up accidentally kidnapping and murdering a student. Very dark comedy.
I don't know why I thought that was funny.
It's very dark comedy, but
just that. Well, like,
just
okay.
that little.
I bet a whole bunch of teachers were like, "Yeah, that's possible."
And I sent it to a teacher. I said, "Can you read this?" Mm-hmm. And he said he loved it. And I was like, "Good, because you are a teacher,
right?"
And so I want to make
you
sure
understand.
you understand. And and with the movie, what I wanted, and I want this to be my first film because. Mm-hmm. What I have is an African-American lead. He's an English teacher. Caucasian, another lead. She's an art teacher. And a foreign language teacher. And he's another lead. And then the kid is mixed. He can be any culture.
Right.
But there's this huge diverse cast. And obviously I have a diverse backstage crew, but I really wanted to implement it. Like, I'm hitting it home with this whole diversity, and there's gonna be people that you're like, I don't think they're right for that, but they're gonna be right for this movie, you know, because I chose them. That's what's gonna happen, type of thing. So that's why I'm really happy about like finishing that film, and I have people reading it now, and they're like, it's funny, you know, I love it. This is that. So hopefully, I can start when I get my, you know,
your brand,
my brand going. I can be like, hello Hollywood, here's a movie that I think you might find interesting, type of thing.
All right. Well, something in the future to look forward to.
Yeah.
You know? Man, you knocked me off. I was going to go my little political route. Now I can't even do it. He's so focused, he got me focused.
That's what you got to do. You got to focus everybody up.
You got to turn it. I'm like,
right,
okay,
I got to turn
don't
the
even care
tables.
about Trump.
Right, Trump is not important right now.
I'm looking forward to seeing your movie. I'm actually looking forward to seeing you be successful.
Well, thank you. And you know, a lot of it comes from my past, because
That's good.
huh?
Grew up here.
So what happened was my mother, she passed in like 2008, and I remember that she really influenced art on me. She let me be weird. I used to roller skate in the hallway, back and forth, just doing it in the morning. I get up, put on some music, and just start roller skating back and forth. And she'll wake up, she'll be like, "This is my son," and then she'll go back into her room. But for me, it's like, and that's what music is a big part of my life, because it helps me think of things outside of the box. I'm not thinking about, when I put on music, I don't think about, you know, oh, I have a test next period. You know, I have this, I have that. I'm like, whoa, there's a rocket coming down. It just blew up Walmart. Whoa, you know, that type of stuff. That's where my mind goes. You know, ever since I was a kid, I've always thought about that. It's just different type of music and stuff. But
the imagination set your mind.
And I love that she allowed me to do that.
That's good.
Because my imagination now is very, you know, all over the place.
Well, that's good.
I can sit there and I can envision a scene off of just a piece of paper flying across the street.
Wow.
I'm like, what if that paper traveled all the way to the gym, and then the guys in the gym picked up the paper, and it said you're gonna die, and you know, like just stuff like that. I'm just like, yeah, that could happen. You know, I can see that being filmed. You know, I have a very weird imagination.
From a piece of paper.
Right. This whole story with that piece of paper.
that's a vivid imagination.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very creative. What you need.
Right. You need to be, especially with. Because I have a huge problem with Hollywood now, because it's all about reboots.
Yeah.
It's all about reboots. And I mean, I love some of them, they have to be done. Some of them, I understand why they did it, but some of them is just like,
Well, you know it's for the money.
why? Why is there a new Transformers movie coming out? We just got done with the series. Why is there a reboot of that coming out? Why is there so many things, you know, that's coming out when there's so many new ideas? That's why I love Get Out. Ain't nobody was going to make that movie.
Yeah.
But Jordan Peele said, we're going to release this movie. And it's one of the top movies, you know, of that year.
Yeah.
It's one of the top.
Well, because it was so
different. It was
fresh.
so out there, so fresh. That's what I want to do. That's why I like the idea. That's why I'll never tank that teacher's idea. Because ain't nobody going to sit there and think of 3 teachers killing a student. Accidentally, right. That's the word. Accidentally killing a student.
It wasn't on purpose.
It wasn't on purpose,
so
but they
looking
accidentally.
at your teachers Monday morning like, what?
Right. Right. They're going to see this interview and be like, hello, Dar'jon. And I'm like, hello, Miss Green.
I did my homework.
Right, I did my homework. Here's a page of the script.
Wow, okay. Yeah. And you're right. That's the thing that's going on more or less. I was reading somewhere how they were saying, even though they're making money, movie theaters are not making money. And that's probably because everything is so.
It's not. To me, it's not fresh anymore.
Right.
Like
it's the same orange juice or something.
It's the same, you know. And when I see reboots, I'm like, all right, yeah, the trailer was cool. But do I really want to sit there and watch a story that I've already seen? Yeah, you guys probably.
And I know.
Right, and I know. Like, and that's why, me and my friends, I just saw Venom twice. And I love that movie. It reminded me of the Fantastic Four, like the old ones.
So you like the way they did
I
Venom? I like Venom. Do you like the movie?
I love Venom.
It's totally different for me.
It's different.
It didn't go by. I comic books.
Okay, right.
So I was looking forward to his art.
Right.
But he went off the scale there.
It went off the scale. So as a movie, here's how
I
I
had
see
to
it.
admit, it was fresh. I was like, what?
As a movie, there were definitely some problems with the editing. There's some problems with the character developments. You know, some things could have been done better. But I haven't sat through a movie like the last time I felt so good and so hyped and just so smiled the whole way through was Avengers: Infinity Wars. That's the last time I felt that way. And I've seen a lot of movies since then. You know, Deadpool. I love Deadpool, but I'm like, yeah, Deadpool is shooting people and cussing and he's doing this and that. But Venom was just so. It reminded me of like how when I grew up watching Fantastic Four.
Right, okay.
It reminded me of that campy fun. Obviously, this stuff won't happen. Obviously, it's just, but it's so fun to watch. Right. It's fun to see Tom Hardy talk to himself. Right. It's fun to see Venom come out and he's like, yeah, you know, it's just fun to see that stuff. And that's what I want to bring back into films. And I think that's why Venom is doing so good now. Or he, it's made his money back for sure.
It did.
I saw the box office. It made his money back.
It did.
So, and I love that's what it's doing right now because it's bringing the fun back into theaters. You don't have to sit there and be like, oh, what's happening now? It's just fun. It's fun to see Venom jump around in the building and stuff, you know? And I love that. That's what I want to do with my art is make it fun also.
That's so important. Which goes back, again, you know, if it's not fun, if you're not having fun, I think anyone in your, whatever career or goal you want to do, if you're not having fun, then you should be making a change.
Why even do it if you're not having fun?
Right. And like we were talking earlier about art, bring art imitating life, which also break down walls, and which is I'm getting you talking a lot about that. Breaking up what the stereotype is, or what people think it is, or they're being in the rut of things,
right?
You know, breaking that apart and making it fresh, and fun. So that's what you want to bring.
Yeah, that's what I want to bring the fun back into movies. Because I've been going to movies since Spider-Man. So that's a lot of money that I put into it. And when I put that much money into it, I want to have fun.
Right.
And I usually do most of the time. But now it's coming to the point where it's like, all right, Matrix 29 is coming out.
Right.
I'm not putting my money into it. And there's been some movies I just choose not to see because I know it's just about the money.
Right.
I know about that, and that's not what I want to go to the movies for. And like I'll go see Venom 3 more times, and I'll be willing to pay the $5, $10, $20 because it's gonna give me a fun time. I'm gonna sit there and smile.
And that's what you're doing now.
And that's what I'm doing there.
Fences.
Exactly, and I love that I can look into the audience too, and see smiles. A lot of my friends came last night to the show, and throughout most of the scenes, I'm able to look at the crowd, and that's what like a lot of Peter and them something. It's like I can't see nothing out there, but luckily the way I'm blocked, I can see the crowd, and I see like my one friend, he's sitting there like, just sitting there engrossed in it, and I see like my other friends, they're like, just sitting there, and I'm like, this is fun, this is fun. I hear them backstage clapping. They clapped after every scene last night. Every scene, they clapped, they hollered, they cheered. That was like the most interactive group we've ever had.
Is that what you like about theater? Because you won't have that much interacting with film after the product.
It is what I love about live theater, that you can sit there and you can build off of what the audience is building off of. With film, it's set in stone. If there's going to be a dramatic film, it's going to be a dramatic film. Right. It don't matter how you take it. But with theater, I can sit there and say a line, and they can laugh, and I can say, okay, we going to keep laughing then. Or if I say, like last night, I remember there's a scene where Troy, he comes up to me, he's like, now if you had $200, what you going to do? Fix that roof or buy a TV? And I heard someone go, I heard them laugh. So I said, I'll buy a TV. And the whole crowd just starts laughing. They all start laughing. And then we kept building it up. You know, so now certain lines and it's cool because you can think now which lines are funny. When during the rehearsal process, I remember me and Troy, it was serious when we did it. You know,
Wow.
I'd buy a TV. Then when the roof started leaking, when it needed fixing, I fixed it. It wasn't serious, but it was like it had a serious tone to it. But now it's funny. People love it.
It's the way the interaction.
It's the way the interaction. I love hearing the audience interact in the back and forth.
And then you can craft.
Then you can craft it. So and that's what I love about theater. It's a different show every time.
Wow.
Some things are funny, some things aren't. Like I remember a few nights ago, people were laughing at and that you wasn't the finest man in the world. They was laughing. Because they was, some of the women was like, ha ha, he ain't. That type of thing. And then last night, Rose goes, like, he wasn't the finest man in the world. And they go, And it was like this deep realization that, wow, she's been stuck in love with this man. It was so cool to hear that. The difference. I was like, y'all was laughing at this a few nights. And ain't nobody laughed tonight. They sat there and they was like, She been so in love with this man, and she's been blind. She let him be the most beautiful man in the world to her, and it was just it's so cool to hear that in theater, and that's why I love. And that's why I'm not like as of now heavily into the film because theater is like was mostly available to me, and I know I can make a film off my phone or something like that, but I want to create quality work, so it's gonna take me a minute to make sure all the pieces are in place. And with theater, it's like I can go to rehearsal, we do it one way. And then I go on stage, and the audience takes it another way. And then we just build off of what the audience takes. So it's a different show every night. It's giving you
more perspective.
More perspective. It's a different show every night. People laugh at certain things. People don't laugh at a lot of things. They laugh when I put a bat on.
So when you go on stage, you actually pay attention or looking at the crowd?
So,
I mean...
Right.
My mom used to act, and she said she just made it black out everything.
It's not that I stare, and I'm like, ooh, that I know who's laughing type of thing, but... certain parts of the show where I have to legit look out in the crowd, that's where I get my glimpses, and I get to see how people feel it. I can't see everybody. There is a light that like blares over a bunch of them, but like the front rows or the front few rows, I can see like who's smiling, who's sleeping, who's what's happening, and it gives you it helps you form the tone, and this is all like while I'm still in character. While I still got to listen to my dad, still be listening to him.
Right.
But I can still look out there. It's like stars. You can still listen to somebody, but look at the stars and literally examine, that star is brighter than that star type of thing,
Okay.
It's like that. And still listen to your friend talk. It's still like, yeah. Cool. That type of thing. And that's all like in the mind. I'm not doing it on stage, obviously, but like just to see that.
I mean, that's a lot of attention,
Right.
Not many people have that. I don't. And the older I get, the less.
Right.
It's like, that's too much energy. I don't want to put that.
Right, I don't want to do all that. No,
right.
I'm tired. No, I'm not going to do all that. No.
Nah, not me. I've learned a lot. I think you have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you.
You just got to, like you've been doing since Spider-Man.
Since Spider-Man 1. Thank you, Tobey Maguire.
And that's a heck of a deal. Not many people stay on track on their dream from such a young age to now, and you're still on it, still crafting it to make the best.
Right, and I honestly believe that God has put me in a really good spot to be able to do that. I have a really nice camera. I have a tripod. I can call my friends and be like, hey, let's go record this right now. When I'm ready to, I can do that. And I think that's what and I honestly think that God's put me in a spot where I can just, yes, you need to go this way. This is where I want you to go. I haven't had any signs that's deferred. I've always asked for signs. I'm like, Lord, if you have a sign, I should not do this. I need it. It can be in the next years or so, but I need it. And every time I ask that, I've always been given signs that I should do it. Karamu, getting a Karamu show, that's a sign.
Right.
Getting the first lead last semester, that's a sign. Being able to go to the school, that's a sign. Going through this program, that's a sign. Everything, doing this right now, that's a sign that I should keep going and doing what I'm doing because it's obviously the right direction. And I'm happy doing it.
Like you said in the beginning, your mother allowed you to be you. And I'm sorry to hear about your loss on that. But it seemed like she gave you, or your parents, they gave you that structure. Their family.
Right. And my aunt and uncle, who I live with currently, who are my guardians now, they do the same thing. I still play football for 8 years. I played football for 8 years, but they still let me Well, yeah, you got rehearsal. Let's go to your rehearsal. Let's do
Right.
this. You know, you got this, you got that. You know,
Right.
they know I didn't want to play football. They still know I don't want to play football, and they come to every single show.
Wow.
They come see They're coming to see Fences. They came to see A View from the Bridge. They came to see Little Foxes, Our Town. They came to see every single show, even the show where I was just in the background.
Huh.
They still came to see it, and I love that. Like, even though I know it's not their ideal, well, not their ideal, but I know it's not like what they expected. I know that they're still happy and content with what I've been doing.
And I also see that God is directing it.
Yes.
Doors are just opening.
Right.
Once again, tell people where and when they can see Fences, the shows, and come and see this young man.
All right. So Fences is still open. We have another show tonight. We have another show tomorrow. Tonight at 7:30. Tomorrow at 3. And then our closing weekend, which is next weekend, will start Thursday at 7 all the way to Saturday, which they all start at 7:30. And Sunday we close with a 3 o'clock matinee.
All right. Northeast Ohio, tonight and tomorrow. Take advantage on a nice, cold Ohio, Northeastern Ohio weekend. Hopefully we'll get that Indian summer back at least by the end of
Right.
October.
Right.
I was loving the 80s. I loved it
Same here.
in October. Then the rug got dragged off.
Right.
So, thanks again. Listening to here with me and Lady D and Dar'jon here. Lady D, baby, we'll back next week. Same time, Sunday at 3. Take the advantage. Go to see Fences this weekend. Night out. Got a lot going on, bro. You got a plan, huh?